Hello, everyone on the planet and beyond. Everyone in this experience, any being that came across this video. We're going to talk about what's happening here on the planet Earth, Gaia. She's known by many names, okay? And let's get in the mindset of reforestation. Reforestation is there because it wasn't taken care of properly in the first place. The association, the knowledge of how that space works with itself and working within that space, how a plant reproduces, how much are you consuming? It's a balance, a give and a take in those situations. Well, in every situation, it's an energy exchange. So, yes, today, reforestation, I have some notes here, as well as like the how to of building that process, because unfortunately, we have what we have. Well, we're fortunate. We're fortunate for what we have. First of all, we're fortunate for that. However, it's the mindset of let's take care of what we have and build it better, because we're moving into a space where the depletion factor has heightened. Okay. So, how our Earth's crust is designed when it comes to the structures that are used within our oxygen exchange, making this planet habitable for human beings, plant life. Well, plant life will be considered the producers. We are the consumers of the byproduct, which is oxygen. So if we're disturbing our oxygen source, our water source, we are limiting our interaction with those sources. That's how it aligns itself. So the structure of soil is interwoven and interconnected. So if you think of a quilt, okay, if you build out a quilt, one sheet of cotton, another sheet of cotton, and in between you've placed a filler of feathers, of cotton pieces, little maybe like scrap pieces, and you've placed them inside, and you sew your design, you close it, okay? Now it's closed. You have to draw out a netting, a webbing, to capture and encapsulate that in which you want to be fulfilled. Let me give an example. I happen to have this quilt here. So if I want to make this into the woven system, because this system is needed to capture the water that is entering into the soil, into the earth. If that tissue, that connectedness isn't present, it's just going to leach and also eventually evaporate, because it's part of the hydraulic cycle. So you have the earth cycle, the lithosphere, the earth's crust. And then you have the hydrosphere interacting on that as well, because water erosion, eroding mountains and hills and valleys, and then also feeding plants, the levels of feeding. So you take out So you've sealed it, right? You know how you fold it. It's sealed. So sewing down this side, sewing around, and back over, right? So once you've conducted this, your individual sections hold in that cushion that you feel. So you've already put the cushion in. If it's a large one, you pretty much have to already put it inside. Yes. So it doesn't move. And that's how we have to treat the Earth's crust when it comes to keeping the moisture in, because water is a temperature regulator. Water is nourishment for the plant life, the biosphere. Most of the planet is consisting of water. However, the water that we're able to consume is fresh water. That's it. There's trace amounts of saline, very trace amounts. Most of this planet is covered with saltwater, saline solution. We do not consume this because for our system, it doesn't work with our system. Fresh water for land beings, salt water for water beings. And then you have freshwater insects and invertebrates and amphibian. And so what we need and what we need when we are in balance, it balances all the other factors out as well, because we are in charge and are stewards of the planet. And with being stewards of the planet, you're also stewards of the beings that live within the planet. So the animals, from the snakes too, because the snakes have a role. The bees, all the process of this experience, and to have I said a profitable experience, because it's a profit to live in clean breathing air. You don't have people in your family saying, oh, I got breathing problems, I can't go and enjoy this thing, or I'm having an allergic reaction, because the allergies are also within the mix of things, within the midst of moisture, within the midst of deforestation, because if the water isn't held within the matrix of the webbing, and the webbing is held together mostly by mushroom compounds, mycelium. And actually, I have a dictionary here, so I can give you the exact dictionary, the exact Oxford Dictionary's interpretation of mycelium. So mycelium is a fungi, and how it spreads its seed is a microbial type of network that is sent off into other networks, and then those networks connect to other networks. So it's been mapped in a lot of places and communicated. So that interwebbing and intermapping is how the physical structure of the soil is held together. So once that is established and you're growing things on top of that, you can have a more flourishing expanse. Now, if it's to the point of desertification, then you need to install bio-friendly, porous aquifers. Okay? and strategically place them based off of also the distance of the aquifers that you are creating. Now, get the understanding that an aquifer is also the factors that you have to think about is how much they evaporate based off of what porous material that you're using, the depth of the aquifer, the length or the distance, the width of the aquifer. Because if think about how much of an area you want to establish and where is that water flowing and running from. Because, however, the longest distance I feel like water should be from people is about 9 miles or kilometers. Miles. And so therefore, with storing it, how close is everything, the movement of water, the flow of water, because you can get further distances if those aquifers are in a flowing type manner. A constant flow, like a figure eight, because if it's going in the same cycle, then it's recycling the same patterns of water, and it's a living, breathing system. So that will assist with flooding. Mycelium is the word we're going to look up. I was thinking matrix, but I said that's not the word. However, we'll look up mycelium and matrix. Because that's what that's the type of design the mycelium create. They create matrices. Plural form of matrix is matrices. That's what fungi create. And so if you have those matrices created based off of also distance between one another and information sent, because it's a structural, physical structural, but it's also what's being communicated. Okay. So matrix and then mycelium. Matrix. Matrices. An environment or material in which something develops. Biology, the substance between cells or in which structures are embedded. The structure in between the cells in which structures are embedded. The quilt example. You're holding that cotton piece or the duck feathers in that space so it stays fluffed versus traveling throughout the entire piece and flowing out of the system. A mold in which something such as a gramophone, record, or print type is cast or shaped. Mathematics, a rectangular array of quantities or expressions in rows and columns that is treated as a single entity and manipulated according to particular rules. That's a lot of rigidity. The Most High creates a design, however, isn't rigid. There's no rigidity. So development of a matrix that would make sense for your design, for your platform, the area in which you're covering. I think it's important. A grid-like array of elements, especially in data items, a lattice. A grid-like array of elements. So yeah, different elements. It doesn't have to be like previously a rectangular array. Elements. A lattice. An organizational structure in which two or more command, responsibility, or communication may run through the same individual. A mass of fine-grained rock in which gems, crystals, or fossils are embedded. What are we talking about? I love all y'all out there. You are a part of the whole. And the whole is massive giants. You have a special place here. I want you all to really get that. So we could team up like Captain Planet. I need to put a list of references. Not references. A list of, reference. What am I referencing? So you can also connect the dots between that as well. Yeah. So yes, a mass of fine-grained rock in which gems, crystals, or fossils are embedded. There's already a matrix of the Earth's natural process for us to replenish reforestation. Reforestation. We have to go forward with that because we can't go backwards to what some have done. Because of this is flooding. You'll see in these areas, especially, they get a lot of rain. However, the rain does not seep into and stay, and it evaporates quickly because it's getting hot. And it's like, well, I have nothing to hold on to. I'm just going to fly right back up into the sky and make the air even warmer. And there it's like, it's removing the humidity so it's even drier. Yeah, so the material for the aquifers, the storage, because it's a storage material, so it's storing a specific dimensions. Aquifer is a specific dimensions of storage. Let's put aquifer too. So I'll put some aquifer information in the bio in the description. Captain Planet reference. Oh. And I'll also look up aquifer as well. So matrix, mycelium, and aquifer. And lastly, breeding female, latter, womb, from matter, martyr, mother. Matrix. Ocular, medicine of or connected with the eyes or vision. Another term for eyepiece. Derivatives, ocularly. Okay, mycelium. Botany. Mycelium is a noun. Botany. A network of fine white ligaments, hyphae, constituting the vegetative part of a fungus. The vegetative part of the fungus. So there's this, okay, it has to be a center. Like everything, it's the center operating system of the mycelium, and those are the vegetative pieces. They're sent out and communicated. Like on a nerve cell, the dendrites, the axon is the vegetative piece, and the dendrites are sending off the information and communicating it. And it's had its parts traced, I think like an effervescent type of dye used to map the communication and what's being illuminated at specific times. And so I'm going to look for those references for you all, cause yes. So derivatives: mycelium, fungus on the pattern epithelium. The skin, the top. Epithelium. Epithelium. I wonder. Oh. So in the dictionary, which I don't understand why they do this. Okay. So at the top of the dictionary, either, right to left, right side, it'll be a word. The first word is for the first word in the first column. It's 2 columns, right? First column. The second word is for the last word of the last column. On the left side, the right word is for the right column, bottom. And the top word is for the top word of the first column. So it's like, why even place it there when you're already referencing? It's double, using a double word. Why wouldn't that first word be for the last word of the first column? Because you're already that's the first thing you're going to see. Let's go into this. Epithelium, anatomy. The thin tissue forming the outer layer of the body's surface and lining an alimentary canal and other hollow structures, especially that part derived from the embryonic ectoderm and endoderm, compared with endothelium. I'm gonna wrap it up for today, you all, because I was supposed to make this video quite shorter, and I don't want y'all to be like, I'm not about to listen to, because there's some videos I don't even watch because it's an hour long. Because no. So I'm stopping now. I'm gonna look up aquifer for you all. See what descriptive language is used here to describe an aquifer. Aquifer, noun, a body of permeable, I said porous and permeable. Look it up, please. I said porous, they're saying permeable. A body of permeable rock, because permeable, it's exchanging. Yes, it's going to have to interact and exchange because I'm mimicking nature. Nature is a constant exchange. However, I the water is being held there. I want it to slowly leave, not more coming in. So I feel like porous is more descriptive of the action I want that system to act as versus permeable rock. I'm wanting there to be inflow and inflow as well as external. Okay. A body of permeable rock able to hold or transmit water. From aqua, water, fur, bearing. Yes. So, nice recap would be design your expanse. How can you design it to have these elements? A matrix, which acts as your fungi, placing those into a wet, because they need wet, they like wet and dark. So figure out your time on the planet that has those complementary pieces. Okay, they also like forms of living material to use. So anything that you have decaying matter can be placed there as well, so it can start to grow and expand. And once it takes on, essentially a life of its own, meaning it's able to nourish itself, it's able to reproduce, it's able to flourish. And what does that, what is the development of that? So once you create the matrices, the fungi, it's growing, it's watered well, you need to follow up. The next method would be to design your aquifer, okay? Having your aquifer placed in there so that communication is where are these aquifers, the distance between one another. If there's water, because water, if you need to move water, you can use those aquifers as movements of water to get back to your location, village, town, however you want to describe a body of people in a co-located area based off of resources. Okay, so when you design that, you need to think of more of a figure 8 fashion, using threes, totaling 6. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. I'll put up some designs for people to see as well, so you'll be able to picture what exactly I'm saying. And so you can move that water in a flowing manner through those aquifers to get to the location versus having it stagnant and moving in only one direction, or moving it in too many right turns where it stagnates the water. It basically ends the life. Water is also a sentience, as I've explained previously in videos. So once those aquifers are established, you can then start to in place your plants and base your plant material off of what plants are needing most water. Plants that are needing a lot of water versus less water, you design your design based off of that. I have, the two theories of planting water hungry plants closer to the aquifer. And then as you get away from the aquifer, it's less water dependent, which, that's the first mind would make sense. However, you can make those plants so dependent and so close to a resource that they just eradicate those plants, those subsidiary plants as well. So that's more toward what I'm leaning towards, and that type of design. So once those plants are established, when the rain is coming down, you basically have a system. Your system is now replenished. It's back on line. Of course, we got to deal with pollution and other things of that nature, which we'll talk about in another video. With your aquifer, you think about gravity, pressure, and the depth of the aquifer you're creating. Okay, for water storage, movement of that water, where the depths and the distances that you're moving, again, did I mention that? About 9 kilometers max in the design that you decide. So enjoy yourselves. Thank you for this experience is one that I honor and I'm appreciative to be on. And y'all pray for the mission, pray for me, pray for yourself, that you're able to have the energy and the mind and the heart and to go on this journey and build a beautiful one on the way. Imagine the garden everywhere you are. And in different forms and different fashions. So enjoy yourselves, enjoy your day, and I'll see you on the next one.